Chief Oju of the Curriculum Committee here at Black Hammer. We need you, revolutionary educators, whether you're teaching in your school or teaching your kid the revolutionary ABCs at the work. We need you to join our curriculum committee so we can teach our young people, our members, and everyone out there about Black Hammer's revolutionary anti-colonial line. All right? Join today and let's get to teaching our people. Land back.
Land back, Chief Oju.
Land back, Chief Sundiata. It is that time. It is that time. It is that day and that time. Land back, everybody. Welcome.
Good morning.
Good morning or good afternoon or good evening. Because we got people watching all over, right? We get a lot from Nigeria. Shout out Nigeria. Land back. All right. Yes, Grand Rising. Grand Rising. Land back, Shegun.
Land back, Chief Solomon, Chief Watakame. Yes. Good morning, y'all. Good to see y'all in the room this morning for this political education. Also important every Sunday.
Yes. Every Sunday, you're going to get the good word, right? You're going to get the word on what revolutionaries of the past mean to us, what revolutionary concepts mean to us, right? Because we are revolutionaries that study the world and study ourselves, right? And so once we do, we know we're going to have the tools to do what we need to do. Land back, I'm Alicia. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Moxley, Utah in the house.
Good morning, Yabe, Red. Welcome in the room. Make sure you're sharing this. Make sure you're getting your comrades in your offices in here as well, because y'all are leaders. So go ahead and lead your comrades to some amazing political education right here. It's mandatory. Remember that. Great to see y'all going out.
It always is. I'm going to be sharing the groups right now. I'm sharing them right now using the power of the Blue app. And what you all need to do is do the same. We need you to like it. We need you to share it to your Facebook groups, even if it's a Facebook group, again, about pizza, about knitting. It don't matter. Make sure that you're dropping that into groups, all right? And once you've done it, make sure you hashtag shared when you shared it. Let us know that you shared it. Let us know how many groups you shared it to so that we know that you're doing it, all right? So, we are still reading our book. It's our last episode of this book, y'all. And if you are new to this, this is the Revolutionary Book Trap. This is a chance for the Black Hammer organization and for you as a colonized person or as not a colonized person to get political education on revolutionary movements and revolutionary concepts throughout time, throughout the past and the present, to understand how to better serve your people, right? Because political education is the thing that gives us the frame. It's the thing that gives us the guide in order to understand if what we're doing is correct or not, right? Because we can place what we're doing now in the context of history and place it in the context of as well. And so we've been reading for Black August, Marcus Garvey and the Vision of Africa. Yes, we got our books here. It's been a really interesting book because it's been a mix of commentary from people throughout history, commenting on Marcus Garvey as well as Marcus Garvey's own words. Exactly. Right? How's this book been for you so far, Chief Sundiata?
I like it a lot. And I especially like the pieces that you get from, the pro-Garvey side, right? I really do enjoy hearing Garvey's own words, whether that's in his letters, from the Atlanta prison, or whether that is, just in his essays in the Black Men, or any of the works that he's put together that are included in this book. I like all that a little bit more than the testimonies and commentary, really, from some dissenters, right? From Du Bois, right? From other members of the Black bourgeoisie intelligentsia who are inherently anti-Garvey, right? Anti-proletarian individuals in the African community. It's also got some good commentary from John Henrik Clarke, which, there's also some criticisms that can be made of him and his own practice in academia, etc. But all in all, just a fantastic experience and journey to learn about Garvey, right? The phases that it moves through, the way that it really paints the picture of the Black Star Line, right? Of what being African felt like in the United Snakes before Garvey and then after Garvey is just really astonishing. So I really recommend everybody go back and watch each of the weeks before this, parts 1 through 6, and then catch up and watch this last one. This is the finale, and we want all of y'all to be able to experience this beautiful book, which you can read at blackhammer.org/library. We have
Yes.
lots of revolutionary text there for you to read for free 99.
Yes, for free 99, all right? Because you know how they want to keep that knowledge from us. Just like Asasha Shakur said, they will not give you the education you need to free yourself. That's a paraphrase of the quote. I ain't the exact quote, y'all. But that's what Asasha Shakur was saying, right? That you're not gonna get the education from the colonizer, from the colony that you're gonna need in order to liberate yourself. If they were able to teach how you get liberation in school, then we be liberated, right? But that ain't the case. And so, yes, this is a form of political education that we can do to this is a form of political education we can do to make sure that we are pushing our people closer to their liberation. All right. And so, yes, we want you to share. All right. Share this and make sure that you are in the comments, letting us know what you think about Marcus Garvey, letting us know what you think about the book so far. Okay. And let's introduce ourselves because we haven't introduced ourselves. And just for the record, we should. My name is Chief Oju, representing the nations of Africa and Boriken. I am working class with some petty side condiments from school, and I use he him pronouns, and I am the chief of agitation and propaganda at Camera.
Land
And
back.
my co-host is
Yes, exactly. I am Chief Sundiata. I am the Chief of Defense Training here in the Black Hammer organization. I represent the nation of Africa as well as Turtle Island, and I represent as well the petty bourgeoisie class attempting to commit consistent class suicide through serving the colonized poor working class masses, through dedicating my life to that service in order to commit that class suicide and be a member of the colonized proletariat. I use he, him, his pronouns. I'm really excited to be here. It's been an amazing, book trap. Being on the book trap has just been an amazing experience, and now it's coming to a close for me. And I can't say that, I gotta say, I'm gonna miss it, Chief Oju. I'm gonna miss the work that we do here and the political education we get to bring to our masses. So I'm not gonna be more sentimental, but
yeah, no, you have been a great co-host because you it's been great to talk about Marcus Garvey with another African and to really get into how he's impacted our people, right? Because it's not an opportunity we get all the time to talk about Marcus Garvey because he's been slandered so much and he's been just pushed aside so much in history. And so it's always been a great opportunity to be able to talk about him with you too. So I appreciate that, Chief. And for everybody who hasn't seen previous episodes, we are going to put them all together. Why not? We'll put them all together as a collective single video so that people can be able to access things about Marcus Garvey all the time. All right, y'all. Laying back. So before we do get started into the book, as always, we do some fundraising. Because why do we do fundraising?
Why do we do fundraising? We do fundraising because the revolution ain't cheap and it ain't free. Getting free is not free. And in fact, especially, what we do, right, which is serving the material needs, serving the material interests of our colonized poor working class people, members of the colonized proletariat, it does take resources, right? We went out Friday morning again, just like we do every week, right, to meet the colonized folks who are on the MARTA train, going to work, coming back from work, just trying to catch some sleep, right, on a train, traveling throughout the city, right? And weeks previously, we had met them, and we had met them with a granola bar, a water, and a mask, right, and a flyer, giving them at least something to eat, just something to eat, and then a mask. But this week we went out and we did our care packages, right? And we'll talk more about how we developed the care package plan and then the way that we move forward with it. But having a bar of soap, right? a granola bar, a thing of peanuts, maybe even a Slim Jim, a water bottle, right? And then a black KN95 mask and a flyer, so we can give them more, right? So
Mhm.
we went from giving granola bars and masks, now we are going up, which means that we need support from our supporters, right? From people who want to give reparations, from colonized people who want to do this work in order to make sure we can continue to do that. And I do need to talk about the larger care package reason. Y'all saw how we went to New Orleans.
Yes.
I hope y'all saw how we went to New Orleans. The Atlanta chapter, the day after Hurricane Ida had struck New Orleans and Mississippi, right, and Louisiana at large, we caravan. We caravan to do that exact thing, right, to pass out these care packages with soap, with socks, with diapers, with menstrual products, right, with food, with water, to give to the people who are not being supported by any kind of system right now and who are being let down by the colony. So, in order to make sure that we're able to serve the masses, right, whether that's in New Orleans, whether that's in Atlanta on the train, whether that's in Cali, right, where all of our chapters are, right, we have to be supported. We have to make sure that we are all putting in. That's why you see hammers putting in, right?
Yes,
You'll see
Rick.
supporters putting in. You see family members putting in, and then you'll see colonizers putting in reparations, right? Because they need to fall under the political and economic leadership of the colonized revolutionaries in order to truly work to get us free. I know that was a lot, Chief Oju, but you asked me a big question.
No,
Why
no,
we
that,
fundraise. I had to let you know.
yeah, no, you let us know. You let us all know, right?
No.
It is us getting resources to our people, and then also
Mm-hmm.
us getting resources to help develop our people, right? At the same
Mm-hmm.
time, I want to, yeah, thank first Joel who donated
Shout out.
$50. Shout out, Karma Joel. Okay,
Okay.
um, and
Okay,
we got
Rob. Rob
okay,
Red.
Robert. Okay, $5 from Ama Land Bag. I appreciate it. Yes, you can donate any amount, y'all. You can donate any amount. If you got $1 and that's what you can do, and you want to contribute $1 to the liberation of your people, that dollar means something, y'all. That dollar
Mm-hmm.
means something. If you want to donate $5,000 to your people, that $5,000 definitely means something.
Mm-hmm.
So, always make sure that you are seeing what's in your capacity to give. All right. And one thing, what you laid out something I think is really important is that, when we are serving our people, we develop over time, right? How we serve our people. And
Exactly.
so we add more resources because we know our people need more than one single thing, right? That's like, of course we know that, right? Because we're also poor, working class, colonized people. We know what we need. We know what our people need because we're also with our people. And so, of course, we see all these needs, but we can't do everything at the beginning, right? We have to build to it, right? You build power. You don't just automatically snap and have it. So these resources help build that power as well. Yeah, we got $10 land back. Thank you.
Okay. Land back
Um,
cheap. And I see the shares as well. Folks saying, they shared 25 times, shared 10 times. If you cannot donate, which you probably can, you probably should, but in the case that you can't donate, share this. Let us know in the comments how many times you share it, right? Because each of the people that you share and they will see it, right? It's a chance they will support, chance they will join and find revolution themselves. Also, shout out Joel for sending that bread. We really do support all the support, comrade, and I hope you're really going to enjoy this revolutionary book trap. We're gonna make it worth your
yeah.
while.
Yes, definitely, definitely. All right. So keep on sharing. Let's get into our book trap trivia question for now,
Ooh,
and see how much more money we can raise in there. All right. As always, we be raising money in our book trap trivia,
uh,
uh, and I'm gonna give $30 in general, but I'll add $5 more for each person who gets the answer right. Myself, Marcus Garvey.
ooh,
All right, so
okay.
let's get into it. Um, so go ahead, Sundiata, and read our question.
Land back. So the question is: Amy Jacques Garvey wrote a book about her husband, and it was called A. Garvey and Garveyism, B. Garvey the Leader, C. Garvey in Harlem, or D. The Soul. of Garvey. How much reading did y'all do? Hmm? How much reading y'all do? $15 donation if you get it wrong, and a $5 donation if you get it right. These are the rules. I don't make them. I just enforce them. So make sure you respond and let us know the answers. We've seen some answers already, but I need to see more.
Yes, yes. Make sure you be dropping them answers in. The way you read those answers, Sundiata, I like that a lot. You were just like, the soul of Garvey.
The soul of Garvey. See
He,
that?
yeah,
That's a good
you
name.
know,
Maybe that's the book name. Maybe it's a good book name. I only see one answer. Nobody else. No.
it's that lack of confidence. Like I said,
Ooh,
I would donate
liberalism.
$5 for every right answer. All right. So drop your answer in. And of course, if you got the wrong answer, you donating $5, or $10. All right. But yes, drop your answers in.
Can we get some more answers in? I want to see Mo. Joel, what do you think? You was watching, you was donating. I don't know what your answer is.
Yeah.
I see Calibri Mel. Where's your answer at? Yabe, Ama. Y'all can't comment on the video and then just not answer questions. That don't make no sense. Shala, Moxley, where everybody at?
Everyone got scared for a second.
Everybody run away when the trivia come out. It's crazy how that happens.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing while y'all are trying to figure out this answer, Amy Jacques Garvey, of course, was the second wife of Marcus Garvey. And, like we'll talk about today, it's just amazing just how much she was able to really keep his work and legacy alive, It's like, it's just like she worked just tirelessly to make sure that Garveyism didn't die out. So let's reveal our answer. Let's see what our answer is. I see some A's and C's.
All right. Let's see. The answer is A, Garvey and Garveyism.
Yes.
Which means if you said A, go ahead and drop $5. If you said C, I'm gonna need to see you drop. I'm gonna need to see you drop 15 on this. And what does that mean for you, Chief Oju? So you had said that you would donate for each correct answer?
So that's $15 more. So that's $45. So I'm gonna give $45, y'all.
Okay.
And Amaleach is sending another $5.
Okay, see, Yabe had a different consequence. They said share 40 times for that lack of answer. I appreciate that.
Yes.
Share it out so other people know the
things
answer.
materially.
Exactly. And the way forward.
Yes.
Absolutely.
All right. Let's get into our read that backs. As always, a read that back is a quote from the book that you like, a quote from the book that you want more questions about, more answers about. All right. So make sure that you're dropping your read that backs into the comments. I already see a read that back from Shagun up in the comments. All right. So get your read that back ready. If you are like struggling to find a read that back this time, look at the Declaration of Rights from the U.N.I.A. in the back, and maybe pick a couple of the declarations that you unite with, or you want to discuss a little bit more. Right. That if you're struggling to find that read that back, but let's start with the read that backs that we got. And I believe I'm first this time, right?
Yeah, I think in the order of the book, you're first. Yes. That's all.
All right. So yes, my first read that back, y'all, is on page 372 in the book, which is page 204 in the PDF. All right. And this is a quote from Amy Jacques Garvey about Marcus Garvey. All right. So she says, let us trace the source and course of Black power to determine its effectiveness as a weapon of defense of a Black minority. I propose to do so by submitting questions sent me by a student of research on the work of Marcus Garvey. I added other questions and the answers so as to round out my subject. Here there are. Is there any connection between Marcus Garvey's teachings and the philosophy of Elijah Muhammad and Malcolm X? Have Garvey's teachings been corrupted? This question can partially be answered by my quoting from a letter written by Mr. Thomas Harvey, President General of the Universal Negro Improvement Association to the Jamaica Gleaner, November 17th, 1964, in which he states, "Please allow me space to express my thanks to your government for inviting us down from America to attend the ceremonies in connection with the reinterment of Marcus Garvey in George VI Park. I think I am in a position to speak on behalf of Negroes in America and Canada, and to affirm our belief in the sincerity and courage of Marcus Garvey as the only international Negro leader at the close of this century. He paved the way for all local leaders who have emerged since his death. Most of them were his understudies or followers who were inspired by his dynamic leadership and the universality of his appeal for justice, equality, and independence for the Negro peoples throughout the world. For instance, Elijah Muhammad was formerly a corporal in the uniform ranks of the Chicago Division. Malcolm X's father was a vice president of the Detroit division, so Malcolm X grew up under the influence of Garveyism. Mrs. M.L. Gordon of the Peace Movement of Ethiopia was formerly an active member of the organization in Chicago. The Ethiopian Federation is also an offshoot of Garveyism. And back.
What can you say about that?
It's just says so much about history, yo. Like it's there's just no question that Marcus Garvey is responsible. He's the literal impetus for all of our understanding of Black power, at least in Turtle Island right now, and then also for so many people around the world, right? We want to think that that all this stuff stemmed out of solely Marxism or Leninism later in the 1950s and 60s, that people were trying to understand some white socialist thing only, right? But that, guess what? No, Marcus Garvey was the person influencing everybody, all right? He was the one who was teaching everybody literally about who they were, what their goals should be, right? And he created the African worldwide movement. There wasn't a worldwide African movement yet, and he's responsible for that. And it's just interesting to see that, like, they say here that a lot of the people, he paved the way for a lot of local leaders who were like his understudies or followers, right? And of course, people don't want to be giving props to the people that be influencing them, right? And just kind of, and this happens to poor working class colonized leaders all the time, especially African leaders, colonized all the time. People will kill the source of that knowledge, but then steal the knowledge to profit off of, right? Here in this case, they're there to actually serve their people. But you think about all those like pseudo sellouts who would all of a sudden be talking Pan Africanism, but be the same person to denounce Marcus Garvey, right? And so, yes, I think it's just important to remember that, and to remember to see how much Marcus Garvey was really the start of all this movement for our people.
Very true, very true. And yeah, I think the same. I also think it's really interesting, right? It was not the right, it was not that Malcolm X met Marcus Garvey, right? Or it was not even that Elijah Muhammad met Marcus Garvey and was like, oh wow, this individual is so inspiring, and now I'm going to go and be a revolutionary. No, it was like the material impact of the U.N.I.A. and what Garvey had done was felt by all African people, right? So this means that Malcolm X's parents, like, materially, may not even told their son about Garveyism, right? May not have taught him to be a Garveyite, but in the way they raised him, of course, they carried the fact that they were in this revolutionary organization, that they had been given, like all African people at the time, a sense of faith in themselves, a sense of love for themselves, and I truly believe that on the path from being incredibly oppressed as folks were, coming out of slavery, right? Or even in slavery, in some places coming out of slavery, in order to get to a revolutionary perspective, you have to first build up like humanity, right? And that's what Garvey did. Is he gave thousands and millions of Africans humanity. He told them they were beautiful. He told them they could dress like they were proud. They could be proud of who they were and the work that they do and the culture they have. And then once you have that, you see yourself as human. You see yourself as worthy and demanding of respect. then of course you move, and politically you start to be like this man right here, right? You start to be able to speak for your own people and understand that your people deserve political justice, right? And I think that that is really important, right? Without Marcus Garvey, yeah, we wouldn't have Malcolm X, we wouldn't have these different revolutionaries. Well, also don't think we would have the culture, the
Yeah.
pride that Black and African people do have, right? Like you talk about that RBG flag, and that is it, right? You will see that, especially in Atlanta, on license plates, on shirts, on buildings, in store windows, right? It is that pride that has never left since
Mhm.
Garvey told us that, we were worthy of all this. So
Yeah.
once we have that, it would be able to be built on, right? There's a platform that we can build politically and through educationally to really produce revolutionaries. And it goes even the same way all the way up to here, right? I'm sure some of us, Africans or just even colonized people who are involved in Black Hammer, right, involved in revolutionary work today, have been impacted. It's the exact same impact that was felt by Malcolm X, right? That rippled through time and impacts all of the colonized revolutionaries and revolutions that are going to occur.
No, exactly. Like someone put in the comments, it wasn't just Africans; it was other colonized people. Ho Chi Minh saw
Mhm.
Marcus Garvey speeches
Exactly.
in Harlem, right, and understood that, hey, I can speak to my people in a in like an emphatic way, in a way that drives like and creates fires in them, right, in order to fight for their own selves. And
Hmm.
if everyone was learning so much from Marcus Garvey, that must have meant that he was speaking to that humanity, right? It wasn't just speaking to just what it meant to be African, but speaking as to what can we do to be seen and exist as truly human on this planet. And it's just, yeah, and it's just, yeah, it's just amazing to see that he did this so early on. But we so many people want to claim that these things were inventions or like products of the Black Power movement in the 60s. I'm
Hmm.
like, wow, like he really was saying a lot of stuff first.
Hmm.
Like talk about get the kinks out of your mind. It
And
ain't even
out of
fair.
your head,
Like,
yeah.
I'm like, wait, he said that too. This in like the
The black
20s.
baby dolls and everything, right? Like
Yeah.
years before it was really brought, and that 60s, 70s, the shiki type vibe came out.
For real.
Mm.
And so yeah, it's just like I think it's just, yeah, let's read that back for me. Is just, yeah, important, laying out just that his influence on the world is just so blunt and so clear. I didn't know that Elijah Muhammad was even a Garvey. I knew about Malcolm X's family, but I was like, am Elijah
Mhm.
Muhammad? Like, damn, so it really was everybody. Everybody was a Garvey.
Mhm.
There was nothing else you could be. No
Except
one
for
was
a sellout.
the Boise.
Yeah, except for a sellout. You choose one or the other.
Hmm. And I can see that's why, um, yeah, those petty blue sellouts were just so angry. Literally everyone was a Garveyite, and they
Hmm.
just couldn't stand it. So yeah, I'm loving that. I'm loving it. But yeah, so make sure you all are dropping your read that bags into the comments that you're dropping your page number and what is a quote that is interesting to you, sticks out to you. I want to read Shagun's read that back that they have. It's from uh, later in the book, on page 448, which is in the this is in the Declaration. Um, and I think, it'd be nice to look at the different things of the Declaration in between. It says, we demand the right of unlimited and unprejudiced education for ourselves and our posterity forever. We declare that the teaching in any school by alien teachers to our boys and girls that the alien race is superior to the Negro race is an insult to the Negro people of the world. And she says, revolutionary anti-colonial education for our babies is key. This white power colonial state is holding the masses of our children hostage, literally. That is
Hmm.
completely true, right? And that was one thing that Garvey worked so hard to do in the very beginning of his organization, right? Was to create that. That was like that was one of his first goals, especially because he was so inspired by sadly enough, Booker T. Washington, who was, of course, someone who was all about creating schools just for Black people.
Yeah.
but mostly funded by white people. And so, but yeah, Booker, yeah, he was really inspired by that, but he understood that that was one of the key things that had to be done in order to overturn uh, the way that our people saw ourselves, right? And saw our futures. Yeah, like for you, Cindyada, what's something that you feel like if you had gotten the education that you deserved and needed as an African child, what kind of person do you feel like it would have made you today?
Yeah, I mean, I think that for a lot of us, having a revolutionary, anti-colonial, right, education and even upbringing during your formative years as a student, as a young person, would have protected and kept us all from sort of this petty boo aspiring phase that a lot of people in today's world, a lot of young people get into because, you know, education is becoming more accessible, although we understand like millions and millions of people and mostly our poor working class colonized people are denied access to a good education, right? The good education, the colonial education is being dished out consistently to
Mm,
people, empowering them to be sellouts, right? Telling them that academia and a paycheck and a six-figure job is the goal and it's more important than any kind of actual liberation or change in the system that they're suffering under,
mm,
because it hides that suffering as well, right? And it makes that suffering look like symptomatic, right? Like you can be all BLM and then, yeah, I want to be on the Supreme Court one day, or, you know, I want to be
yes.
president one day, but I would do good things, not understanding and not being told. You know, I know fifth grade me wasn't told that the president is the one who drone strikes and extracts, millions of lives as well as dollars worth of fuel or minerals or whatever from colonized nations. And it's the reason that so many people, our people, are in turmoil consistently and mourning consistently, right? If I had been told that as a young boy instead of being told, yeah, Barack Obama is an amazing feat for an African American person, for a black person, and you can do this too, and you should be, doing everything you can to do this, right? It would have saved a lot of years of being petty boo and petty boo aspiring, and would have
Mm,
helped me realize that no, my purpose is not necessarily to go get a degree and then get a law degree, right? The purpose itself is actually to, you know, impact my people for revolution.
yeah, yes, full unity. Yeah, I think like trying to see what it means. Like, yeah, I can't imagine what it would have been like having Obama push on me during my education as a child. I can't
Hmm.
imagine that because I could see how this leads our people toward just a complete false understanding of themselves and their future. And I think that's also what's really important about education. And Marcus Garvey understood as well is that it's not about just learning your history. It's not just about learning where you're from and who you are, but it's what kind of person are you being made to be, right? What kind of grown person do they expect you to be now that you have been given this education? And
Hmm.
so you can, yeah, like you're kind of laying out, like you can have all this history be taught to you, but still be taught to be Barack Obama as an adult. You can still be taught to be W.E.B. Du Bois as an adult, to be a sellout as an adult, right? To be a neo-colonial sellout, and that's what we are dealing with a lot today, right? In this 21st century, there's a lot of neo-colonial sellouts who know how to quote Fred Hampton,
Yeah.
right? And which is it's some crazy pseudo world that we like world that's been created by this education system that's trying to answer people's anger but still create adults that keep colonialism moving,
Hmm.
right? And then you get these like weird clown monster versions of colonized people that are saying vote for president. But Fred Hampton is right. It makes no sense, right? It makes no sense, right? Yeah, just kind of like how there was the pig yesterday at the Seven Under protest.
That wasn't a
As an
pig,
emperor,
Oju. That
right?
was a piglet.
Yeah, it's
A
this.
piglet. And he said that he was a Garveyite, and he said he was a Panther. He had an American flag on his chest. That's the kind of cognitive dissonance that the colony wants you to have, to think that you can be a pig with a gun protecting a business from African survivors with an American flag on your chest. and still be a Panther, still be a strong African who, you're not supporting the Panthers are doing. Y'all are divisive, right?
Yeah.
Your mind is divided. But
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that Red. Yeah, exactly. Bobby Squeal. Oh my gosh, it's hilarious. It's hilarious.
Oh, what you got? That's funny. Yeah, no, it's just it's cognitive dissonance, and it's just also what you can see how that's how desperate the colony is, y'all. The colony is so desperate to hold on that it's just creating it's creating minds in our people that just don't make any sense.
Don't
Right,
work.
at all. Like it's just people combining all these ideologies up in their mind that don't match, and just got us confused.
Mm-hmm.
Like millennials is confused, Gen Z is confused,
Yeah.
um, because it's the worlds that they are showing us and the worlds that we're living aren't matching. They aren't adding up, and so we need education to help it match up, to help us see the true situation that we're in. Um, land back.
Okay.
Uh, let's get to the next read that back. I believe it's yours.
My turn.
Yes.
Waiting patiently. Lambeck. So my read that back is on page 375 of the book, 205 of the PDF. So just a couple pages after Chief Oju's previous one, and it is just this first paragraph of Garveyism: Some Reflections on Its Significance for Today by Marcus Garvey Jr. So we get to hear from his son, who in some insight as to what people said about his dad, and mostly like the slander, right, that we receive as revolutionaries, and that the petty bourgeoisie, the only way that they can actually attack you is by lying about you, because you're actually the one doing the work. So anyway, so many commentators writing about the late Marcus Mosiah Garvey have used the term, quote, back to Africa leader, end quote, and have concentrated exclusively on this aspect of Marcus Garvey's thought and work. The general reading public must be excused for thinking that there was nothing more to Garvey's philosophy than the Garvey philosophy than packing all blacks on boats and dumping them in the African bush. This, of course, is not an accident, right? The white liberals and the pseudo-intellectual blacks who have been most vocal in interpreting and denouncing Garvey adopted the same line for different reasons. The liberals never wanted the black race to develop strength and power in their motherland of Africa. In that case, they would be out of business. The pseudo-intellectuals, on the other hand, have always been wary of any scheme which would take them too far away from their favorite avocation, pursuit of the white female. For these reasons, principally, commentary on Marcus Garvey has usually taken the form of a black and white minstrel show built around the general theme of a crazy, egotistic, and noisy black who thought up a scatterbrained scheme to remove the black people from their American paradise to the African jungle. Now, this is bars right here, and you can tell that he's standing up for his father, because he, of course, out of anyone, has probably seen and experienced the most of this slander. But I can say that I've seen this too. The first time that I heard about Marcus Garvey was just like, oh yeah, back to Africa. He wanted to just send black people back to Africa. Isn't that a silly idea? It didn't work though, so he doesn't really mean anything. Like, that's what I got from education system, right? From being a young person and learning about Marcus Garvey. And the fact that I really like how it breaks down the interests of the two people, the two classes of people who push this, right? Like, the white colonizer does not want African people to leave because it relies on African people here to act as slaves, even if they're getting paid measly amounts, to act as slaves in factories now, right? In fields still, right? In all these ways as a means of war production, right? Where would World War II have gone if we didn't have African people in factories producing ammunition, etc., right? So understanding that they have an economic interest. Exactly. That they use, that those resources would be gone, and then for the petty bourgeoisie, they ain't ready to go to Africa because they don't want to be African, right? They don't want to be African, and I like how it says it takes them away from their primary goal of being a sellout, is The reason they sell out is to get with white women, right? To assimilate into white society, to be white themselves. Um, and that last sentence is just really powerful for me because it shows the disrespect, right? The disrespect that Garvey and African people as a whole receive from the petty boo, right? From the colony. Like to say that millions of African people who the largest mass movement, mass unification of African people under an organization, under the UNIA, is supposedly a crazy, egotistic, and noisy black who is leading them with a scatterbrained scheme, right? And it is 100% engineered to make African people sound like idiots.
Mm-hmm.
To make the African people, the millions of hardworking African people in the United Snakes, right, in Pachamama, right, in the Caribbean, etc., look like idiots. And that is
Yes.
how they want to paint everyone who was involved with Marcus Garvey, because that is how that's the only way that they can actually, in using his, single failed campaign, right? They don't talk about anything else Marcus Garvey does except for the one that he was sabotaged and was unable to complete, right? To make it sound like the whole lot are idiots, should be disregarded, and to remove it from the history books. So that's why I really like this, and I really was appreciative to hear, someone who was Marcus Garvey's blood standing up for him in that way, because a lot of people in this very book, right, are not standing up for Garvey, right, are being the
Exactly.
ones pushing this narrative, like Du Bois.
Mm-hmm. Yes, no, that's so true. Because it's just again the same story of like white liberals and of course white conservatives or whatever, but white liberals and these intellectual academia, African sellouts that were just trying to just paint movement, try to paint Marcus Garvey's movement as something solely just solely as some failed show, right? Like they try
Mm-hmm.
to make it seem like it was just like I can't think of the word. Like when you put like something on like a show, but I can't think of the word.
Like a spectacle, like
Yeah,
a
spectacle. Yeah, like it was just like a whole an event. Like Marcus Garvey was just trying to have an event, and it's like no, Marcus Garvey was doing many things and trying to create many apparatuses and institutions within the African community to have a larger goal of liberation, right? And it's just it is so nice to see like his son hold him up because one thing
exactly.
because some of the revolutionaries, I mean, they children revolutionary, right?
Exactly. We know that.
That's not always a
So it's
an
good to see it when it does happen, right? It's good to see the blood stick with the revolution.
yeah, exactly. And I think here it's just it's again like just seeing how what they did to him, what they did to Marcus Garvey, and his legacy, and they were trying to just make him again the enemy because
Mm,
he's the enemy to these white people and these sellouts because for them. For those people, the white people and the sellouts, their friend is white power. Their friend is
yeah,
colonialism. So of course, Marcus Garvey is the enemy, right?
exactly.
Um,
And I think as well, it's important to note, right? Like I was saying, Garvey stood up for the basic respect and dignity, right, that African people deserve to have, right? To be respected, to be seen as beautiful, to be seen as intelligent, right? And the entire propaganda plan to attack Garvey is essentially refuting that for him, right? Trying to bring him back down to where he needs to be, right? To make him look like a stupid lunatic who is doing nothing but hurting his people, who cannot be trusted, right? Who cannot be loved. Du Bois called him ugly, right? Like they really are just trying to bring him down a peg from where he thinks that all of his African people should be. And that's how you really know that it's like diabolical, right? Like
yeah,
how do you as an African, even in Du Bois, right? How do you do it as a human, see a group of people who have been dejected and like put in turmoil, finally be able to say like, yeah, I'm proud of who I am. I can put this suit on and fight for my people, right? And then say, okay, this leader's a lunatic. We got to move him down. We got to show everybody that he's crazy and can't be trusted. And it's just
yeah.
really disgusting.
It really is, yeah. Diabolical is a really good word for it. It is just like evil work
Mm-hmm.
because it literally doesn't gain anything except something individual for that person who is doing that diabolical work. and individual. It just shows how evil individualism is, because it only satisfies someone's own individual petty need rather than actually lead them to serving their people or serving the people better. Whew. This is actually kind of related to your next read that bag, actually, in terms of like the way that
Oh, yeah.
people were treating this. So do we want to go to that one too?
Yeah, I'll just hop into that one. So that one is 10 pages forward in the book, so on 385. And in the PDF, it is on page 210. I'm just pulling it up myself. Is it 385? Oh, 384. I'm sorry. 384. It is the first full paragraph. So it says, and this is in the Marcus Garvey revival, 1940 to present, but this is a comment on how he would feel today, understanding, how the world is today. And I think it's really relevant as we are working in a different world, the actual current world, to reflect on. So it says, Marcus Garvey would not be impressed with a black man's situation in the world today. He would still ask, where are the black man's armies? Where are his navies? Where are his men of great affairs? The answers must be that the black man has no armies or navies, which are worthy of note, and his men of great affairs are usually found to be in the antechamber of powerful white men, begging for loans, alms, and grants in aid. This is a read. And this is a read from, I guess, I'm going to see actually who wrote this. Is this still by Junior?
I think this is still his son.
This is still his son. It's the same thing. So yeah, his son is reading the current day, saying like the work that my dad had worked on, the work of Marcus Garvey and the U.N.I.A. has not been accomplished, right? If he was here today, he would be just as ashamed and just as empowered to make change as he was back then, because nothing has changed, right? Because even though maybe, symptomatic things, and I'm not sure, I mean, this is 1940, perhaps, like things have progressed, right? We know with every 10 years they attempt to give African people some form of consolation, some form of, maybe it's a new bill, maybe it's a new civil right, who knows? Maybe it's a new street sign, right? Who knows? But understanding that, just as it was when my father was alive, the only support system we have is the same system that is utilizing and exploiting us, right? The only army the black man has is the United States Army, right? Which utilizes black men and exploits them to kill other African and colonized people, right? To extract those materials to then continue to exploit the people here, right? The only men of great affairs, right? The only individuals who are doing things, right, of great importance, who are from the Negro race, right, from the black race, are the sellouts. Yeah. Right, those are the only people that we have standing up for us, being popular, being supported by the colony. Right, are these people who are in these rooms with these white folks, begging for crumbs, and they're not begging for crumbs for you. They're begging for crumbs for themselves. Right, for loans, for grants, so they can have some program in the hood. Right, where they pretend to put up solar panels, so they can have some institute. Somewhere where they can continue to do more research and make themselves more money and continue to do more research for the purpose of the colony, right? There is no advocate for the African people. And his father would be very, very disappointed and shameful at that. And we have to look similarly to today, right? And think about, okay, what if Marcus Garvey Jr. was here today? And what if Marcus Garvey was here today? Right? What are we would they look at this world that we're living in and say, oh yes, the African people finally have their army, finally have their navy, finally have, people doing great affairs on their behalf for their betterment, right? And the answer is no, right? That does not exist. Which is where we come in. Yes, because those are the goals that we have for our colonized people, right? To be supported by something that serves their best interest only and does not serve any interest of the colony, right? It's not enough to have a black part of the army, a black part of the economic system, right? A colonized part, right? We need solely dedicated systems and states for our people. And
Yes.
that is the work that we are doing to make it so that if Garvey were to show up in 10 years, hopefully, right? Hopefully he would look at the work that we've done and say, there we go. That's some good
Exactly. And that's called dual contending power, right?
stuff.
That's called dual contending power because we are creating a system that can serve the people that is living side by side with the colonies system that serves the people and actually just kills the people. But yes, those two exist side by side, and the people will choose. The people will choose a power that either serves them and in, in serving them reminds them, it teaches them that they are human and deserving of everything that they're receiving, or a system that is giving them barely anything, killing them in the process, stealing their things in the process to give back to them less of that has been stolen from them, and then tell them they are not worth anything, tell them they are not human. So the people will choose. It's an easy choice, but that power has to still be built. And so rather than make our people wait for that power, people can organize for that power. And that's what Black Hammer is doing. All right. Because it
Exactly.
won't just pop up. It won't just pop up out of nowhere and be like, yay, we got a choice. People have to create the choice.
Exactly.
People have to create that choice and create that option. And back. Um, we want to take another moment now to do some fundraising. All right. You want to just do a little bit more of that, getting them funds because we want to make sure that our resources are coming in order to build this dual contending power. All right. Right now, we have our Ministry of People's Affairs, who is working so hard right now to make sure that our people get alerts on extreme weather events, extreme disasters, any kind of weather events. It doesn't even have to be extreme. Because yes, as we saw with our hammers that went to New Orleans for Hurricane Ida, our people need preparation way beforehand. As we saw in New York and New Jersey in the Northeast, our people need preparation way beforehand. It's you would think that oh yeah, it makes sense in a place that gets hurricanes all the time in the Gulf of Mexico that people were getting prepared and that they have the materials that they need. It's like no, we need that all over the country because climate change is affecting everybody.
Literally.
It's terrifying to think that in New York City that climate change is killing people by flooding their basements.
Mm,
Like the, people were literally dying in flooded basements in Queens because
mm,
of this hurricane, because of climate change. This isn't something that used to happen. This is the first time it's happening in this intense way. We have to
yeah.
realize that we have to put in work and resources to build things that protect our people from this.
Yeah.
Uh,
And
yeah,
I would say as well as, this is the new normal.
yeah,
People talk about the COVID new normal, but the new normal for the climate, disasters that is occurring is that there will continue to be storms like this that our colonized people are not prepared for, right? And that is why your donation is so important as well. Understanding that one of our, main goals, right? One of our main missions that we will continue to be on is providing aid for colonized people who are struck by natural events of this size, of this caliber, like we did in New Orleans. And the only way we can do it and expand the capacity in which we do it as the earth expands the capacity at which it produces these storms because of colonialism is if we get support, right? And if you understand that, that $15-20 that you donate right now is going to go right into the hands of someone who has nothing else but the bag of goodies that, Black Hammer has brought to them, right? Food for a day, water for a day, right? Socks for their feet, and a bar of soap so they can wash themselves, right? That is where your donation goes. It goes right
yeah.
into their hand. It does not go to us, does not go to our Ferrari fund. If we had one, we would already have a Ferrari by now, probably. You'd be seeing it all over Instagram. But it's important to realize that, especially as we get into the winter, especially as we get into the winter months and storms become winter storms, right? We saw it in Texas out of the blue, a winter storm come through in a place where it had not been before and begin to ruin lives, begin to kill people because they could not leave their homes, right? You're talking about the basements, people in their cars, right? Unable to breathe because of carbon monoxide poisoning, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when you support the organization and our Ministry of People's Affairs, you're able to get those tips out to people before what not to do if your power goes out, right? How not to stay warm, right? Some people would be in their garage with their car turned on, sitting in there, letting that heat up, and then what that does is it circulates the fuel, the exhaust into the thing, and you will die, right? And that's how a lot of people die during winter storms. So informing the people, right? Supporting the people materially with whether it's hand warmers, whether it's a space heater, right? Whether it's a bag of food or a way to clean water, right? Iodine tablets, whatever it may be. This is what your donations do. They expand our organizational ability to reach out and protect lives of colonized people during their most dangerous times they've been under.
Yes, exactly. Can we get a hashtag prepare our people up in the comments? Hashtag
Prepare our peeps. Hashtag
prepare our peeps.
Either one, either one. The more hashtags, the better.
Yeah, yes. Prepare our peeps, prepare our people. Drop that hashtag up in there. I think peeps. I'm like that's an extra throwback to me. Yes, prepare our peeps, prepare our people. And yes, because all these resources help make sure that our people have what they need. And then once we go give our people resources and learn more about what the situation is, then we can learn what other resources they need. For instance, in New Orleans, the big need was tarps. They're like, we need tarps for our roofs that got holes in them now. It's like, yes, of course, right? Can we get the resources to responsibly get hundreds of people tarps randomly all of a sudden? No, not necessarily. We have to prepare for that, right? And we have to prepare people for that. And how we do that is with resources, right? And so make sure you all are still donating. I'll donate 5 more to round mine out to 50. So,
and I'll match that 50, Chief OG.
hey,
now that you've built up your number, I'll match it. I'll match it. It's not moving from there. Or maybe
no,
it is.
yeah, that'll be my finale amount. But yeah, make sure that you are still sharing this, and that if you can't donate now, you can pledge to donate later. But also just get someone in your life, whether that's someone in your home, your family, your friend, to just get $5 to hashtag Black Hammer Org on Venmo as well, Black Hammer Org, to make sure that our people can get something. All right. Oh, we got $10 more from Joel and back, and also
$10 from Robert Red,
okay.
land back, and yeah, like Chief Oju was saying, like reach out to your friends, your family, the folks around you, especially if you have ever been in a situation like this, right? If you've ever been afflicted by a natural event. We call them natural disasters, we call them natural events because Mother Nature is not disastrous. It's colonialism that has made disasters for Mother Nature. But we have to understand that, if you've ever been through this, you know what it's like to have a number of water bottles in your house and that's all you got, right? And the water ain't on, power ain't on, right? You can't go to the store. Store's probably empty anyway. And you would know how it would feel to have someone place another water bottle in your hand, right? A bag that has a mask, it has diapers for your child, right? It's got menstrual products, which maybe you or your partner or your loved ones might be running out of, right? And getting that support. If any amount of support that we can give to colonized people in need is worth an endless amount of money, which is why I really appreciate the donations that come in and really would like to, push y'all to continue to donate more. Get your family in on it, right? Challenge them, right? Be like, hey, I'm donating $5 to this. Can all of y'all match me? It's only $5. It's only a burger. And I'd much rather just not have my burger for that day, for that week, whatever it may be, and allow someone else to have a bag with some necessary materials that will help them stay alive and help them stay, dignified, right? And continue to live like humans as opposed to what the colony allows to happen to its people after these disasters, right? People truly living in some of the worst conditions. And we deserve pride and dignity and to be healthy and to be happy. And that's what we want to bring to our people.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was at the cost of one cookout tray.
Yeah, and cookout trays are good, but they ain't as good as Revolution. They ain't as good as feeding our people or supporting someone in need. Exactly.
About $4 from the 444 I would have gotten from Wendy's. right? Yeah, that's $4 to go for 4 years of revolution. All right, so like, that's
Four four. Okay, there we go. I'm a little Black Hammer 4 for 4.
yeah.
Oh,
All
oh.
right, let's get to one more another read that back. I think this is about Bishop Turner and Marcus Garvey, and just for the context, Bishop Turner uh, was a literal, the bishop um, who was working in South Carolina and Georgia, uh, basically creating AME churches, the African Method.
Yeah.
Meth- what's the AME?
African Methodist Episcopal.
There you go. And I'm like AME, AME, and but he was also a real big proponent of Black nationalism and and Black self determination. And this is before Garvey. This is like the 1890s or
Yeah.
something. This is happening in Turtle Island, in the United States, and he had like a big influence on his people as well. And I just thought this read that back is interesting because it's kind of a review of like thinking about them too and like what their mistakes could have been. And I think it's just interesting to address. So it's on page 399 of the book, and I believe it's on page 217 of the PDF. So it says, had either Bishop Turner or Marcus Garvey combined Washington's, Booker T. Washington's, organizational ability with their Black nationalist understanding of what had to be done, the outcome might have been different. Although Turner fought for African redemption and Afro American emigration throughout most of his long life, he had other interests, particularly church affairs, and so did not give his wholehearted attention to Black nationalist agitation. He had only one consuming passion, but his fatal weakness was his failure to select competent and loyal assistants. There were other reasons why neither Turner nor Garvey was able to achieve ultimate success. Each had active opponents, and in the end was overwhelmed by them. For just as Turner's propaganda was taking effect in the mid 1890s, Booker T. Washington gained national attention and soon dominated Black leadership. Garvey was overwhelmed, not by a new leader with new ideas, but by a concerted attack from his opponents, who succeeded in physically removing him from the scene. Both Turner and Garvey failed to get substantial support from the Black upper class, the small but influential elite who had skilled jobs, professions, and college educations, and who yearned for stability and integration more than race pride. Although Garvey was much more successful in getting money and ships, in the end, neither he nor Turner was able to arrange a strong settlement of Afro Americans in Africa or otherwise create a powerful Black nation. Each man was so aware of the pervasive reality of white oppression and the powerlessness of Blacks around the world that he ignored the necessary details of organization and nation building. I always get heated. That's it. I always get heated at people who are like, they don't understand nation building. I'm like, then you go build a nation. God, constantly, constantly saying everything, but don't go and just do it. If it ain't right, then go do it the right way, whatever you think it is. Goodness
All
gracious.
good.
Just that's just hate is always abound. But one thing that I think is interesting is that they really highlight that it was the undermining of their work that was their downfall, not
Mhm.
necessarily them themselves. Of course, they're trying to say yes, it was their fault in certain ways, but a large part of it was the undermining of their work and propaganda against them, right? And propaganda against African self determination. Um, and that a big thing I think is important too is that for Bishop Turner, the rise of Booker T. Washington as a national leader. And this is why it's really important to really look at who are the African people that they are propping up in our communities, right? Like, why is Malcolm X, Sean King, someone that we all know his name? I have no idea why I know his name. There's no reason I should know his name. Um, but they insist that he is a leader in our community. Uh, uh, Tamika Mallory, why do I know her name? Why do I know who she is? Right? Like all these people have been propped up as people in our community that somehow are supposed to have a better insight than our like poor working class revolutionary leaders like Ozzy, right? And so it's just interesting that
Mhm.
that it's the same thing, and that you know a revolution is not just built by an individual. A revolution is built by uh, a collective of people that understand a political line or are loyal to that political line, right? And this person was recognizing that they needed more of those people around them to succeed. Garvey needed more of those people around them to succeed. Uh, yeah, land back. I was just think it's interesting the parallels of that for today, and
Mhm.
then also to see like how even before Garvey, right, that Bishop Turner was done dirty the same way, and so it shows that it's not even about Garvey; it's subjectively about him, right?
Mhm.
People want to say it's because people it's about what they themselves at. Um, and yeah, and white power will do whatever it has to do in order to
Mhm.
end what they represent.
Land back, absolutely. I unite Chief Oju, and I won't even try to add. I think you summed that up. That the comparison or the parallels very very succinctly. But I wanted to laugh. I gotta laugh at this sentence. Both Turner and Garvey failed to get substantial support from the black upper class, the small,
Mm,
influential elite who had skilled jobs, professions, or even college educations and who yearned for stability and integration more than race pride. Good. Good. And I think framing that as a failure is really a misunderstanding what the revolutionary
yes.
project is, right? How are you going to unite with the black upper class, the petty bourgeoisie, or any form of upper class, whenever that's who you're organizing against? You have to understand that the black upper class is only there because they play directly into the interest of white power. So they have a little badge that says good Negro. And they wear the good Negro badge and they get lots of money, but you have to understand that under that is just like they're just a puppet for white power. So there is no way to get unity. There's no way for the black colonized Negro, whatever African, whichever we're talking about, proletariat to be united with the bourgeoisie of their same race, of their same nation, right? Of the
Mhm.
same environment they're trying to have revolution within. Who are you revolting against if not them? Right? If not the tools, the hands, the ones who will actually do the work of white power, the ones who will come and actually destroy your business or actually threaten your family or actually destroy your image with propaganda, right? How are you going to be united with them? And I think that's important for everyone to understand, especially y'all haters, y'all who fit into this exact description, right? Who think that because you got a college degree, right? Because you got some good skills, because you're a good assistant or intern at some kind of thing, right? Oh yeah, I know how to use Microsoft Office really well, so I'm really valuable to the revolution. Wrong. Wrong. You're not necessary. And in fact, it is necessary to remove you from the equation, either by getting you under our leadership or by pushing you to the side whenever it becomes time for that to happen, right? So I
Yeah.
think everyone needs to internalize that the person who wrote this was wrong. That's not a failure, right?
Yes.
They succeeded in staying united with the poor and working class masses and not selling them out for some Negroes who got like a college degree and a nice car who just want to keep their college degree and their nice car and probably get more of both, right?
Yeah.
Their interests are not in the interest of Garvey, right? Are not interested in the interest of African people around the world. So it is a victory to not have their unity instead of what this person, poses it as a failure. Just really
Yeah.
funny to me. You could always use a laugh every
Yeah,
time.
no, it is funny. No, it is funny. I forgot to comment on that part because yes, it is hilarious, right? To think that they're such a necessary part of the equation. And I know other revolutionary movements around the world, and like other revolutions, even like Mao, like a section of the petty bourgeoisie. No, especially in the United States. No, 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 no. And people, always question, oh, like why is Black Hammer going so hard on these sellouts? Right? It's because we've seen history. I might be breaking up a little bit right now.
Very good.
Um, um, uh, we've seen history. We've seen history. We've seen what happened to Marcus Garvey, and who was it that really sold out Marcus Garvey? It was them sellout Negro leader.
Mhm.
Like it's in like, and so of course we're gonna go hard because we don't want the same contradiction to happen again. All right.
Because we're historical dialectical materialists, y'all.
Mm-hmm.
It's not hard to understand.
Yeah, and
You
if
read the
you don't
book,
understand,
You read the book, you read what it says, you internalize it, and you don't make the same mistakes. And you kick out and remove the petty bourgeois individuals who are going to be your downfall, like they were the downfall of the UNIA, right? Like they were the reason the UNIA was not able to be as successful and achieve liberation for African people. It's just science. You should try it
Very.
sometime.
It's just science, y'all. And I think before we wrap things up, actually, I think um, I want to go to the Declaration of Rights. That's okay with you, Cindy?
Mm-hmm.
um, and look a little bit at a couple of the things that like the UNI declared as part of their political line. And I think, and just one thing, one of them I want to bring up was number 13 and 14 and 15, 13, 14, 15, which is kind of eerie because the U.S. Constitution, those 13, 14, 15 amendments all got to do with Africans.
Ooh,
So
very true.
it lines up in a weird way. But it's on page 446 of the book. And I think on the PDF, it's on page 241 in the PDF. But yeah, it's just number 13 is this is in the Declaration of Rights. We believe in the freedom of Africa for the Negro people of the world, and by the principle of Europe for the by the principle of Europe for the Europeans and Asia for the Asiatics. We also demand Africa for the Africans at home and abroad. Number 14, we believe in the inherent right of the Negro to possess himself of Africa, and that his possession of same shall not be regarded as an infringement on any claim or purchase made by any race or nation. 15, we strongly condemn the cupidity of those nations of the world who, by open aggression or secret schemes, have seized the territories and inexhaustible natural wealth of Africa, and we place on record our most solemn determination to reclaim the treasures and possession of the vast continent of our forefathers. That is land back.
Mm-hmm. 100%.
And people have to understand that land back is not some new concept. It is a very old concept that has been birthed by the contradiction of colonialism. And that even the U.N.I.A., the Universal Negro Improvement Association, understood it, as in they said, Africa for Africans, Asia for the Asiatics. So they said everyone should get their land back, everyone should get their nations back, and not just get their nations back, but get the resources from those nations back as well, right? And so it's just amazing to see that the politics and the political line of our revolutionary ancestors, of the revolutionary ancestor of the Black Power movement, of the revolutionary ancestor of what it means to be a Pan Africanist, what it means to be African in the world. Marcus Garvey understood land back and worked land back into their very framework of their organization, right? And so we have to remember that Marcus Garvey is not solely a Pan Africanist. It's not solely just about Africa for Africans. Marcus Garvey understood that all colonized people who had their resources stolen needed their land back, and regardless of what other contradictions happen of organization, because of sellouts, because of people who undermined him, that it's his political line that we are espousing today. It's his political line that we are reflecting today, and he truly was just uh, had such strong foresight. He had such strong foresight for our people, and so yes, I salute Marcus Garvey, and I'm inspired by him, and I'm honored to be an African like him. Uh,
Mm.
and yes, he really he paved the way for so much for our people, and people have to realize that. So I'm back.
Bam back. Yeah, I fully unite 100%, and I think it's really important for everyone who considers himself anti-colonial to understand that like this is colonized unity,
Yeah,
right? Like for instance, Marcus Garvey saying Africa for the Africans at home and abroad, and by extension, by the same logic, the Europe for the Europeans is, Asia for Asiatic or Asian people, right? And he doesn't necessarily lay it out, but obviously, uh, Turtle Island for people who are native to Turtle Island, Pachamama for those who are native to Pachamama, rights and resources and dictatorship of their land for people who have been stripped from their land by colonialism, right, by white power. Uh, a lot of people like to say, that African people do not have unity with indigenous people, right? That African people, especially those in the United States, are not united with colonized people. That we are settlers, right? People use that word settlers and don't understand the colonial contradiction is what has placed both of us in the position, both African and indigenous people to Turtle Island, in the same position, and therefore, once we get the boot off of our necks, Turtle Island for those who are, from Turtle Island in Africa, like you said, and I thought it was really truly beautiful the way that he laid it out is like Africa has space and resources and enough capacity for all African people in the world, right, to live and to thrive there. The only reason that we see Africa as a place that is, the dejected, right, a place that is not, able to thrive, is because the colony still has it, right. Those
Yeah.
nations, those borders were drawn by the colony to keep it in the state of disrepair, where the only thing that functions is the extraction, right? The only thing that functions is the extraction. There are a couple big cities, and then the most of the rest of the people live in some state of poverty,
Yeah.
right? Because of colonialism. So once colonialism is overturned, once the people of Africa and Africa herself, Mother Nature herself, are able to live in harmony, we'll find a life like no other. And that goes for all indigenous people returning to their lands, returning to their land that their ancestors had been stewards of, and returning to that stewardship, right? Because that's what Africa for Africans is.
Yes, exactly. Oof, yes, yes, Chief Sundiata, because that's where we're returning to ourselves, but as a new kind of human, right? And that's the goal of what revolution is, right? Revolution is not just have what's owed to you, but to have what's owed to you and use those resources to build a new version of yourself that will never allow things to be taken from you again, right?
Exactly.
Or if they try to take it from you again, it'll be very, very hard, right? Yes, it's exactly the new Africa, right? There's Africa, there's just Africa, there's Turtle Island,
Mm-hmm.
exactly. These are our homes already, and so we just gotta get them back. We just gotta get them back. We were just talking about like, yeah, like being in our homelands literally um, alters your science of your body. You
Mm-hmm.
know, like being in Africa doesn't just make you the color that you're supposed to be. It gives you the vitamin D that you have. Most Africans that aren't in Africa are vitamin D deficient. Um, it literally changes your physiology, like the air,
Mm-hmm.
the earth, like all that stuff that you're supposed to be interacting with makes your body different. This land back is so much bigger than just resources and just the land itself. It literally is about the science of humanity, y'all. So yes, long live Marcus Garvey and us in our movement. We'll carry you with us, Marcus Garvey, for everything that we do. And yeah, I guess we just bring it to our announcements. Before we do, I just want to ask you, Chisu Niata, what's one final thing you want to say about Marcus Garvey and what he's taught you?
um, yeah, I don't know. It's a lot. I think that for me, this has just been a blessing to be able to like you said, sit down with you, Chief Oju, as another African, and be able to talk about a hero that I didn't know enough about. And maybe I was embarrassed at first to admit that I didn't know much about Marcus Garvey, but through this political education, through working with you, I've learned so much about our own history as Africans. Both in the continent, in the colony and abroad, right, everywhere, and about like the work that needs to be done, right. This work, it reminds you of the revolutionary capacity of African people, right. The fact that we are beautiful, intelligent, and engaged humans who want more than anything dignity and freedom, and are willing to work incredibly hard for dignity and freedom. right? Millions of people giving their economic, power to this movement just for a chance to be a part of a hope to be free, right? And understand that we have to truly echo that. We have to show our African people, our indigenous people, our Asian people that we can have the dignity that we know we deserve, that we see the colonizer has within their state, and make it within ours. So more than anything, Marcus Garvey's, this book has steeled me to the class consciousness, the division between the petty bourgeois and the colonized proletariat and its revolutionaries is starkly made clear here, especially as we're going through that same struggle within our organization, our time. That was really beautiful to see, as well as understanding like the global unity, right? A Jamaican, African, right, coming to the States and basically saying like we need to build here, and then doing it, right, and then leading and throwing away this idea that has been pushed into our heads that Africans and African Americans are like two different breeds of people. It's like really disgusting. It's like the idea that we can't unite, that they don't want us in Africa, that we don't want to listen to them because they aren't civilized or whatever, right? But Garvey throws all that away by inspiring people in the United States, right, in Pachamama, and on the continent, right, even in France, in colonies of other nations in Europe, right, to see each other as one, to really unite. And I could go on and on. I could do a whole other book trap about this book or about more Marcus Garvey, but it's just been an amazing journey, and yeah, and I'm proud to have been able to help speak this PE with you. I've been a part of this. It's been really beautiful.
I appreciate that, Chief. I appreciate that. I appreciate your words. Yes, long live Marcus Garvey for sure, because yes, we learned a lot from him, and we are going to continue to learn a lot from him. It ain't over. And so, so let's get into our announcements, y'all. Let you know what's happening at Black Hammer this week. So tomorrow we have the Vanguard, as we know, was postponed last week because of Hammer's going to New Orleans, working for our people. And now we're back, and we ready more than ever for the Vanguard. So join us tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time for that. All right, yo?
I'm still mad they got me wiping sauce off my shirt in that picture.
I like that picture still.
I ain't gonna say nothing. And then the second announcement we have is our Tuesday rally. Tuesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, every single week. This week it's on September 7th. And the theme is Duty to Build a Free World. This is the rally that was postponed. Y'all want to be in here, right? We're going to be reflecting on all the work that our hammers have done, right? Bringing the spirit that all of our Atlanta hammers feel, and hopefully all y'all feel from the work we did in New Orleans to the rally to inspire more colonized people. So tell your friends, right? Tell your family, get people in here, reach out, and we'll make sure that you get into the rally to be a part of this, to be able to see live on YouTube. Can you tell them where they can catch this rally, Chief Oju?
You can catch the rally live on YouTube at Black Hammer TV, so youtube.com/Black Hammer TV, and also the Black Hammer Times Facebook, y'all. So 2 platforms, be there.
Y'all gonna need to be there.
Then we have on Saturday, September 11th at 6 p.m. Eastern Daylight Time, Did America Deserve 9/11?
What? You can't say that.
I just did. I just did. I just did. And the question that we ain't the first ones to ask that, right? A lot of people ask that because they want to understand exactly what does it mean for something like that to happen, and then after that have 20 years of bombing and drone a country, thousands of miles away, right? And so, yeah, we'll have a discussion with political education. It'll be live on Black Hammer TV YouTube. So be there this Saturday. Y'all don't even know yet. So come on.
You don't want to miss it. It's going to be bomb. And then we've got our Reparations Corps Political Education Boot Camp for Colonizers. I believe this is on Wednesday.
Yeah, well, people can sign up. People can just sign up, and we'll follow up with them on all of it. But yes, you could yes, you could go blackhammer.org/reparations. Make sure that you are paying the reparations. We'll start there. We'll start with the reparations,
Mm-hmm.
and then we'll figure out what's next. But yes, as
Exactly.
you all know, if you will colonize a saltine, you gotta be paying.
Absolutely. Yep. You got to fall under the leadership of colonized people. If you are a colonizer, right? So this is the only place y'all need to be, right? I don't care about no Antifa rallies. I don't care about no CPUSA, PSL bull that you think is going to be good. It's going to get you on the right side of history. The only place to be is under the colonized proletariat revolutionaries who are leading this anti-colonial revolution. So hop in here. It's the most comfortable place for you to be as well. And
Mhm.
you really don't want to miss the amazing political education and leadership that these recruits get every single week.
Yes, yes, slam back. And then make sure that you are joining the Agitation and Propaganda Committee. It is the committee responsible for laying out that political education, but also with our hot Instagram, with our controversial Twitter. If you are into music, TV, art, news, whatever it is, this is the place for you to make sure that you can get into the revolution with the talents that you got. And that's also something that you can do after you join Black Hammer, which is at blackhammer.org/join. Join us. That is how you can get in on this revolution, how you can get in on this stuff. It's all free 99, just like Chisundiata said, right? All of these things. And so come in and be a part of making it. And then last but not least, our next book. But
Okay.
yeah, I know we getting a little ideological. We get a
Ooh.
little ideological, and
Hmm.
also people are like, who this? Who this?
Hmm.
We are going to be
Ooh,
reading materialism and the dialectical method, y'all. And just like War of the Flea, which was written by uh, Saltine, we're
hmm.
gonna be learning things, right? This was also written by Saltine, but what we're gonna be learning is materialism and dialectical materialism and dialectics because people are always asking, what does that mean? I bet some of
Hmm.
y'all who've been here a long time are still trying to understand what it means. And so we're gonna get deep into it, what it means. And it's a short book, y'all. Be a nice, quick read, but we're gonna finally really get deep into what dialectical material means for the colonized revolutionary. All right, cornhole.
I'm
Oh
excited
yes,
about this. Let's go.
yes. And so we're gonna show all these people, right, how at Black Camera we read, of course, all of our colonized revolutionary ancestors, and we make sure that we brush up on all the ideology. People think that
Hmm.
we avoid an ideology. No, we looking at it, we get all the
Hmm.
information we need and pick what we need to do and let the
Unlike y'all, we don't hide from the truth. We don't ignore revolutionaries and scholars because we are materialists, right? Unlike y'all, we don't pick and choose.
yeah. And so get ready. It's good. It should be in the library already. And we're gonna get into it next Sunday. All
Hmm.
right. And again, I want to thank you all for joining us for this book chat. Thank you all for your donations. And keep on donating, keep on dropping something as you watch this live, as the live goes not live. And yes, thank you all for your support and really getting Marcus Garvey's word out there. All right. Um, want to thank you, Chisundiata, for being a great co-host. And yeah, y'all have a great revolutionary rest of your day. Laying back, everybody.
Land back.